To get the most eyes on your vehicle, you need the best that the rest will see. At Lightning Wraps, you get the best at an affordable price compared to the rest. Be sure to check us out on Facebook for more information.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. Let's go execute. Our time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight till the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down. The after-jets are lit. Count out anybody who wants it the most.
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. What a victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough?
A dominant performance.
Gonna stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody's pushing as hard as they can. Get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
What you know about rolling down in the down in the
Never know we don't be loving this shit
what you
right
know
here.
about rolling
What you gonna do?
rolling
What you gonna do?
down in the rolling
What you gonna do? Right, don't be loving this.
And welcome in, race fans, to another season of the Lightning eSports. Now, what is going to be the Truck Series. Just getting ready to get underway here for tonight's race at Talladega for race 1 of the new season. A lot of drivers in the field here tonight. Looking forward to potentially putting themselves in position to start off tonight with a win. I'm Oscar Jensen, joined by Bryce Shoemaker. And Bryce Shoemaker, last season, we saw a driver that dominated majority of the season, that being Bud Shear in the 93. This season, someone's looking to maybe potentially try and get that title to their name instead of giving it to Bud like last season. What do you think we should expect from this season?
So it's going to be exciting. Obviously, the first race of the season is always going to be a super speedway here at Talladega Superspeedway. So this race is all about having fun, building that momentum to get you in the continue the season and get a good points tonight.
And talking about getting a good points tonight, it's going to be very difficult to do. You're going to need to stay out of trouble. But let's go ahead and go down this starting lineup. On the front row will be Chris Baker. With the pole, Chris Phillips to his outside. Row number 2 will be Sean Burke and Jonathan Stidham, I believe. Brendan McKee and Brandon 4K there on row number 3. Row number 4 will be Bud Shear and Adam McAfee. Row number 5 will be Jesse Fox and Robert Kahn. Row number 6 will be Barry Nelson and Javier Zapata. I hope I said that right. Row number 7 will be Mathis, Bernatches and Dennis Warrens to his outside. Row number 8 will be Sebastian Chanel and Rusty Jordan. Row number 9 will be Joshua Pennell and Mike Rideout. Row 10 will introduce Michael Chanel and then Orton Russell to his outside. Row number 11 will head to Alex Foster and Kristen Triver. Row number 12 will be James Foster and then Jason Henry. Row number 13 will be Michael Ware, Truth Hoke. Then row number 14 will be Jeffrey Ledfer and Chantel Patel. And then rounding out the field will be Kevin Baker. We'll go ahead and go over the quick weather display here. Temp 76 degrees out north, 2 miles an hour. Partly cloudy. Although from these camera shots, it looks to be pretty clear out there. Track temp's going to be 105 and no humidity that these drivers are really going to have to deal with, which doesn't seem like it can be that big of a deal, but it definitely can play a factor. Now that track temp is going to make this track a little bit slippery and slidey, wouldn't you say, Bryce?
Yeah, when you get the track temp up there, even for super speedways, once these tires start wearing, the air moving the trucks around, it's going to get definitely slicker. You're going to see some guys not able to hold the line as steady as they need be, and we can see that at Talladega. That can bring chaos. So that'll be an interesting factor, especially once we get deep into a run.
We'll see how these drivers can handle Talladega here. Last season, we saw this race go pretty decent for these drivers. Obviously, it was the ARCA car, so it is a little bit different vehicle this time around with the trucks, and these trucks can be pretty much a handful at certain points in the run. Obviously, we're probably going to see 2 wide for most of the time, but we can also see 3, maybe potentially 4 wide, which is really when you get into the danger zone of being even though it is such a wide track, it definitely will cause some issues, as it looks like we're going to get another pace lap here. So these drivers are going to have to complete one more lap around before we do get the green flag.
Yeah, this is an interesting factor. Not talking about this isn't a long race, it's 50 laps, so it'll be interesting to see what these extra pace laps do for fuel mileage wise. Some of these guys I wouldn't be surprised they're shutting the truck off right now, saving as much fuel as they can possibly do.
And you touched on a good point. Fuel mileage will probably always be a factor at super speedways. You want to stretch it as far as you can, but you also don't want to have to just sit there and ride around the whole time. So some of these drivers will potentially try and save a little bit extra under these caution laps and under green when we do get that green flag, but other drivers might decide that that's not what they want to do, and you'll probably see some drivers go immediately up towards the front. Other drivers might remain a little bit further back, just trying to play it out for these first couple of laps. But you know, Bryce, that's the fun thing about super speedway racing, is you never really know what's going to happen, and you'll see a lot of times a lot of different strategies come to play out.
Yeah, that's one of the most exciting things about super speedway racing is there will never be one single person dominating this race. You will have guys that typically are normally mid-packers running the back. They'll have their chance. They're going to run up front, get that broadcast time, put a good show on for the sponsors and the team. While those fast guys are maybe riding in the back, protecting the truck, maybe fuel mileage racing, saving some fuel to get that one pit stop shorter than the rest to get correct position that way. But there's so many factors that go into super speedway racing, and we're already seeing it on display even during these pace laps with all the different mindsets going into here.
And now it looks like things have been sorted out, and we should be able to take the green flag this time by Bryce. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be wild. These drivers have had a month to kind of just sit there before this new season is started, and I'm sure they're antsy and excited to get underway. They're going to work through turns 3 and 4 for one final time before we see the green flag. Iger and Chris Barker on the front row. To his outside is going to be Chris Phillips. It is a while before we do see the green flag in hand, though, because this restart zone is a little bit further from what we're used to at other tracks. Getting ready, green flag in the air. We're off and racing from Talladega.
Getting up to speed, getting through the gears, everyone's clean so far as Chris Barker leads the inside line as he clears by 1 row. As we still see 2 by 2, we don't see a third row forming just quite yet, but everyone's taking their time. And a clean start to this race to start this season.
They're going to work through turns 3 and 4 for the first time here, still getting up to speed. Most of this top part of the field pretty calm, remaining side by side.
First lap is complete. Chris Phillips leading the outside line. It looks like he has a great run. He's almost clear of the inside line as they're dead even going into turn 1 and 2.
A drag race off for 2. Both these lines, the top and the bottom, working very well together. It's going to still remain a dead even drag race as they head down the back straightaway. Both these lanes have about 3 trucks working pretty decent together, and that third truck needs to be fairly close to those 2 in front of them to make their line work the most efficiently. And right now, those 2 lines, I mean, doing a great job at it. Pretty much even the whole way around. You see guys giving a little bit extra space further back as well, not really wanting to be too aggressive early on, and I think we'll probably see that change here once these guys get used to each other.
Yeah, just as you said, these guys are getting used to each other. A lot of new faces here for this season, and you can see they're giving gas to each truck, and you can also see the side draft. No one's really side drafting yet as well, so I think give it about halfway, we'll see a whole different race, but right now lots of room being given, and you can see that the lines are dead even. Pretty much everyone doing a great job keeping it clean and being very respectful of each other.
2 by 2 through the whole field for the most part. You'd have to go all the way back until like row 13 to actually, oh, and we got one blowover. That's Orrin Russell in the 1 truck who went up and over, landed back on his wheels, but oh my goodness, an early incident here for the 1 truck and the field behind him quickly taking evasive action.
Yeah, 1 month ago, Orrin Russell was competing for a championship, and not the way he wanted to start this season. Up and over. I can't believe that wreck wasn't bigger. Great job by the field for wreck avoidance on that one.
And you know, I'm a little surprised that he was able to actually it on land on hole 4 again. You don't really see that a whole lot of times in these wrecks, but able to actually continue and probably will be able to work it back around to pit road. So I know it's not ideal to be going over this early in a race, but he won't have to use a tow there. So there's pros and cons to what just happened, but either way, not the start that Orrin Russell, like you said, probably wanted, who just had a championship run last season.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but obviously every driver gets 1 fast repair in this league, and for blowing over, the damage does not look bad at all. I think he might not even have to use that fast repair. He might be able to repair it during these pace laps.
We'll see if he needs to use that fast repair, and like you said, Bryce, 1 fast repair for those guys out there that are curious as to what these guys have. They do get 1 fast repair, so some drivers obviously going to be a little bit more grateful for that. In this case, it's going to be Orrin Russell in case he does have to use it. Now, you don't want to have to use it this early, but if you do, you know, it's not the end of the world, but you just have to be a little bit more cautious, and we'll see how long Oren Russell decides to keep on the pit road here and try and fix some of that damage, but up and over early on. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here quick. Actually, excuse me, we have to go back a little bit further than that, so let's see if we can do that. All right, the one truck of Oren Russell here, top side behind him, the 01, I believe, of Jeffrey Ledford behind him. Looks like it might have just really like I don't know if Ledford behind meant to get to the outside there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't tell what really happened there. If he was trying to form a third line or if it was just a bad push that got him out there. There was a push on corner exit. Maybe it sent the one truck down and Jeffrey Ledford tried to go to outside. I have no idea. It looked weird from those angles.
Take another look at it here, see if maybe we can look back.
Yeah, it almost looked like that push got him off-centered and got him out of line, and the one truck tried to get back in line, and the momentum was just killed from being put in that like sucker hole there in the middle, and that caused the momentum to break up and just couldn't get back in line.
Yeah, I agree with that. It definitely looked like the push from behind. I think Ledford might have gotten a push from the 10 truck behind him of Jason Henry, which then kind of sent Ledford up the track a bit. I don't think he meant to get to the outside of Russell, but either way, Russell got tapped in that right rear and went for a wild ride right there. All right, so a quick caution right there, Bryson. We thought maybe it'd be a little bit calmer, and that it was, and then unfortunately just some trucks getting unaligned, and that's a big part of this style of racing. You got to be pretty square on your pushes. You don't want to get unaligned, or else you'll see wrecks like what we just saw. But you really got to make sure that when you do give somebody a push, you're aligned, and not, you know, you can't really always control what happens out here. Things happen so quick, but with these trucks especially, they don't take the best pushes. I think you can kind of agree to that. You've driven the truck a little bit more recently than I have, but these trucks can really be a handful if you try and push too hard.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can't see it, but the biggest thing about this is you're racing the air as much as you're racing the competitors, and it might not look like it, but those trucks are moving around a lot, and you're just sawing at the wheel, especially when you're deep in the pack like that.
Well, these drivers going to have another chance here. Chris Barker going to be the leader here once again into the restart zone. Green flag, we're back racing again. A good start by that front row for both lanes. That 46 truck going to get out in front and be able to clear the outside lane. Doesn't look like he's going to jump in front of that outside lane, though. He's going to remain on that bottom side while that top lane might be able to try and get to work to get around that inside lane. they're going to have a good head of steam heading down this back straightaway, heading into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, big run by the outside line led by Sean Bark in number 94. Doing a great job. They have more organized there, but we're still seeing it. People are being patient. Even when these guys get those big heads of steam, it seems like everything stays dead even. We haven't seen really one line clear one another yet.
Running side by side up at the front for the time being. And now these top 6 kind of breaking away from the guys behind them who have kind of put a little bit of a distance between them and the rest of this field, who are look to kind of just be a little bit calmer this time by. Doesn't want to hit the urgency button too early in the race, have to use that fast repair. So these drivers right now kind of just feeling things out still, not seeing a whole lot of pushing. You see the 25 dive out. That's Robert Kahn for a second there. Decides to get back in line. So not making that 3 wide. And now he's going to maybe look to work with, I believe that's a 10 truck again of Jason Henry. So Robert Kahn, Jason Henry looking to make a 3rd lane here at lap 9.
Yeah, they're really trying, but I think they need to have more trucks in this 3rd line, especially with how unorganized the pack really is. As we see some movement out front, they're trying to get a 3rd line going up front too, it seems like. We're getting a little bit more racing now.
And a 3rd lane, you really need, like you said, you need a decent amount of trucks up there to make it work. And I think if Robert Kahn and Jason Henry can maybe, if they can get one of these trucks up in front of them to jump up, they might be able to make a little bit more progress, a little bit quicker. But right now, it's just 3 of them up there, and they're going to need at least a 4th truck to maybe compete with these 2 lanes.
Yeah, and the big thing with the 3rd line as well is if you're going to do a 3rd lane, you can't take it easy or anything like that. You have to be aggressive. You have to be all lined up, nose to tail, really pushing. And you have to be more aggressive with your side draft, especially when you only have 4 or 5 trucks in that outside. So you're not really seeing it. You're seeing them still trying to take it easy, but you're not seeing it. They need to be more closer together. As you start to see the pushing starting to become a little bit more aggressive, they're starting to make their way up as they are now to like the 4th car on the outside there. 4th row.
And like you mentioned, side drafting needing to be done, and we can kind of see it happening with that 3rd lane. Side drafting a little bit harder on that middle lane. You saw him pull back that middle lane just a little bit and allow the guys in front of them to put a little bit more distance in front, but you don't want to side draft too hard and drag all those lanes back and then be too far behind. So you got to be manageable. You got to listen to your spotter. You got to listen to what he's telling you. And another big part of this super speedway style racing is listening to your spotter. He or she can relay information to you on where other guys are running on track, how close you have to maneuver in these corners, and really most of the racing comes from your spotter above. So some of these guys deciding to maybe use a real life spotter, others maybe just deciding to stick with iRacing. It all depends. I think using a real life spotter will always be an advantage. Somebody that you can maybe phone a friend real quick and get them to hop on the spotter stand for one race here will always be helpful. But right now, that 3rd lane, I mean, they're still holding strong up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about that spotter, that is your most important tool on a super speedway. And having that live spotter, you know, it's not even to call you clear or 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide. They can tell you which line's coming, where the run is happening, or who's in front, who's behind, and you can push them out. So having a live spotter is so important here. And I think there are a few drivers out here that do have live spotters. I think you'll see that play a role later on tonight. But with that 3 wide, we're starting to see it. Let's see the inside line starting to pull now. I think they're pulling back that 2nd and 3rd line. And the way this is going, if they don't get back to 2 wide, I think we're going to see a single file.
And now you see that middle lane actually getting a decent run there on the front straightaway. And mixing it up now up at the front. They're 3 wide for second. Now going to get shuffled back to second. Back to 2 wide. And that leader, Jonathan Stidham, I believe I'm saying it right. I'm sorry, I'm going to try and learn your last name. Trying to control these lanes. He's going to be sticking with the bottom. You see the 93. Actually, we have 2 93s. I think one's supposed to be the 94. But you see those teammates, different lanes, but also playing the key factor of being the second truck in line, working really well for the time being, as now Jeffrey Ledford going to be able to clear for the race lead.
Yeah, as we complete lap 13 on to lap 14 here, we're seeing some teammates starting to get to the front, maybe trying to control the race. We're starting to get to that point where every time I feel like we're about to go single file, another move is made. But right now we see the first 5 cars single file. The first side-by-side battle for P6, so if these guys calm down a little bit more, we could get single file, but I could be wrong. We can see the solid line outside surge, but one thing we do see, that third lane has officially died, and we are back to just having 2 lanes right now.
And I was just going to say, that third lane really fell apart after Ledford was able to get to the race lead. They kind of shuffled it up. Ledford kind of was able to drag some trucks from that middle lane down to the bottom, and then that really kind of flunked that middle lane, so those guys running that third lane up at the top kind of sort of moved down to that second lane. There's still 1 or 2 trucks up in that top lane, but most of them have moved down to that middle lane. So third lane worked for a bit, now kind of disintegrated for the time being.
Yeah, we see Truth Hope right now trying to bring that third line back. He has 1 truck behind him, but you're obviously going to need more numbers than that. But it's good to see that they're still they haven't given up on the third lane. They've been trying to develop it more and more. As with these opening laps, they're just learning what the pack is doing, what the energy is like, and how to form those runs. So all this is experimenting right now for the end of the race, and just glad to see that that third lane hasn't officially been ruled out yet. You guys keep learning.
Dennis Warren's here, 3 wide in the middle. That's the 55 of Truth Hoke, I believe, up leading that third lane again, trying to make it come back to life here. Has a few trucks behind him. We'll see what they can do up in that third lane. That third lane now moving to that third row, maybe potentially getting up to the second row, trying to side ground to that middle truck. That's the 41. A little bit of close contact right there. 41 of James Foster holding down that middle lane. And right now, as I say that, I think some guys decide to head down pit road, so that's going to also shake things up as they're 3 wide for the race lead for the time being at the start-finish line. I think Ledford led that lap, but Truth Hoke has the momentum on the high side.
Yeah, this is fantastic racing. They are still 3x3 for the race lead right now. They are making each lane work. I'm shocked by that. It doesn't really look organized in any lane, and maybe that's why it's working so well. But these guys are still giving plenty of space, a lot of gaps to work with for the 3x3, taking care of one another as we have stuff to do.
And green flag pit stop, so you got to be able to communicate with some guys, either teammates or friends or manufacturer alliances. You don't want to be a single truck hitting pit road. You see some more dive down pit road behind them. And really what you don't want to have happen is just pitting by yourself or pitting with 2 guys and getting off sequence, getting unaligned. You really want a decent pack to come out of pit road with you. And you'll probably see in these next couple of laps some guys trying working their way down to that inside lane. You don't want to have to be stuck in that middle lane or outside lane and have to come to pit road. So a lot of communication, a lot of back and forth, probably talking on the radio with guys, trying to figure out who and what, or who is pitting and when. Right now though, Truth Hoke I mean, continuing to hold that top lane down and looking really strong, actually.
Yeah, something that we didn't talk about, but during that caution, we had about 6 trucks stay out, and I think those are who just pitted there. I think they needed a caution to come out. That's going to really hurt them. They were unorganized. They also pitted in 2 different packs of those 6 trucks. Right now, I think right now they need a caution. Even with these trucks being 2 wide and 3 wide at points, I think the bigger pack is still faster.
Oh, a little bit of a wiggle right there with Truth Hoke trying to get down in front of, I think that's the 01 behind him of Ledford. The 75, though, Michael Ware doing a great job at actually pushing Truth Hoke. Now it's kind of reversed roles. Hoke is going to be behind him. We'll see if he can give the pushes that Michael Ware was giving to him. And through all that, actually, Barry Nelson was able to clear from being that 3rd truck on the high side. And like you said, Bryce, we're looking at it right now. There's 4 trucks that came off of pit road together, organized together. That's Chris Barker, Chris Phillips, Sean Burke, and I believe Jonathan Stidham in that 4 truck pack. But like you said, don't have the numbers, not as organized as this lead pack is, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of lap times they can put down.
Yeah, and as you say that, the worst nightmare just happened. The pack is in single file. They might be getting ready for pit stops, but when you're single file with this many trucks, that means you're going to go faster. As here, they all come down.
So more trucks coming down pit road. That's going to leave about 9 trucks still having to come down pit road. Ledford going to lead the remaining trucks, and like we've been talking about, these guys kind of unorganized who stayed out. They're going to lose a little bit of speed this lap. You see Ledford, Shear, and Warren's, those top 3 trucks all together, but then the rest of the pack that was with them a little bit further back trying to suck up in that draft, which is not going to be ideal.
Well, our first leading pack that pitted there, we had Rusty Jordan and Robert Kahn. They both spun coming to pit road, and I think they both got on-safe pit entries and probably speeding penalties as well. So it definitely wasn't a clean, open pit stop for these drivers.
And, you know, that's part of having race number 1 be so critical. You got to be able to have a good pit stop, especially under green flag conditions. I mean, it's going to be a learning curve probably for some drivers. New vehicle, like we said, it's a truck. It's no longer the ARCA car. So these drivers probably having to get adjusted to that still. And we'll probably see a lot of these guys maybe not have the best pit entry or pit exit just because of that. But that doesn't necessarily mean the race is over. It just means it's behind a little bit for the time being.
So looking at the lead pack that just came back, it looks like Chris Barker is going to be the most successful driver during this round of pit stops. He'll probably have the lead as they get up to speed here on the backstretch. This is something you have to watch. You'll see this in real life. They might have to swerve, and these guys might block him a little bit to mess with the speed and momentum.
And those guys on the bottom still coming up to speed. Ledford right there on the bottom. Then that's Bud Shear and the 93 as well right in front of him. And they're going to, this group that's up to speed is going to work on by them. So those guys that just came off the pit road going to have to hop in line behind these drivers. And you see just that happening behind. But now, like you said, Bryce, these drivers going to probably remain single file for a little bit. Not really needing to get too racy, which can help this lead pack, but it'll also definitely hurt that second pack behind them.
Yeah, our opening pack here is 11 trucks strong. They're definitely not going to get out of line. They are probably all satisfied with where they are. Obviously, we have one more green flag pit stop as well, so there's no need to race. I think they're all in really good track position-wise. So I think you'll see all these guys stay single file. Unless for some reason they want to put on more of a show for the broadcasters here. So we might see the strategy take over this race, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
That it will be. Right now, though, Chris Barker leading the race with Chris Phillips behind him, leading this first pack. We're going to go ahead and take a quick side-by-side commercial break. We'll be right back. You guys won't miss a thing. You're watching the Lightning Esports Truck Series live from Talladega Superspeedway.
To get the most eyes on your vehicle, you need the best that the rest will see. At Lightning Wraps, you get the best at an affordable price compared to the rest. Be sure to check us out on Facebook for more information.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You got a great car, great team. Let's go execute. Start time. We know what we got to do. Stay in the fight. Between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
We'll fight till the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down. The afterchecks are lit. Count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory, this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough?
A dominant performance.
You gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can. Get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Down in the deep.
Never know y'all be loving this shit
What
right
you know
here.
about rolling, rolling, rolling.
What you gonna do?
Rolling, rolling.
What you gonna do?
Down in the rolling, rolling, rolling.
What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this.
And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lightning Esports Truck Series, live from Talladega Superspeedway. 23 laps to go. These laps are winding down. Another green flag pit stop, more than likely going to have happen unless we see a caution. This first pack really putting down some decent lap times and have been able to separate themselves. Bryce, we noticed under caution that second pack has continued to not really gain anything and has maybe even lost a bit more time. So that second pack still needing to figure out something to maybe have a shot at this first pack if it remains green.
Yeah, there's like 3 packs. There's the main pack, then we have a pack of 4, and then another pack of 4. I really feel like the second pack just needs to back up to that other pack of trucks, because it's just a game of numbers right now and the energy they have in the pack. And you can also see they are not packed up together at all either. They need to be nose to tail, basically pushing one another around this racetrack right now to have any shot at gaming. And you just see they're not nose to tail, and a lot of big bubbles in between. So right now it's not looking good. It looks like they might need a caution, but if I was them, I'd be trying to back up to that last pack and maybe get more numbers in that pack.
And that's really what this comes down to, is just who is going to have the better numbers in their pack. And like you said, I would probably want to back up to that third pack, but you know, sometimes that isn't necessarily the best case scenario and doesn't really help you out at certain times. I know from my experience out on track, sometimes you'll back up to that third pack and it may actually slow you down even more. So I'm sure that those guys back there are trying to take everything in consideration, but at the same time, with 21 laps to go, coming to 20 laps to go, you don't really have a lot more time, or you don't have that much more time to work with. So definitely still a long ways for some of these guys, but also continuing to wind down these laps like we are, not gonna give these guys much of a shot for the race win if it remains this way.
Yeah, we're completing lap number 31 right now. 20 laps to go in the race. Right now we have one more green flag pit stop, so I'm not going to write out those backpacks either, because we've already seen it, multiple speeding penalties, a few spins from pit road entry. This big pack can pit all together and mess up really bad, where those 4 or 5 drivers in that second pack will have a good shot at catching them back up or even taking over the lead if they mess up that badly. So I'm not going to write out any of these drivers that are still on this racetrack, as anything can happen. As we speak about it, pit stops are starting.
Drivers coming down pit road, that's some of the leaders here. The 46 truck of Chris Barker leading the way with 3 other trucks behind him. That's going to give the race lead to Barry Nelson. So this first pack kind of getting split up for the time being. Still a majority of these guys in this first pack, though, going to continue to go around. We'll see when these guys decide to pit, but I would probably say they're going to pit not too much longer. And I think they're actually getting ready to pit. It looks like a lot of these guys maybe trying to signal that they are going to be heading down pit road this lap. We'll have to see, though.
Yeah, this is one of the most exciting parts of a super speedway race, is the strategy that happens and how these guys attack pit road and all that, as it looks like they're going to take another lap around here. So they're formed up pretty well. This might be the better strategy. They might pull off faster laps with even less trucks in there. If they can get really tight on one another, they could pull off faster laps, and that might be what's in their mind right now.
Yeah, that's, you know, like, that's a good point to make. If they think that they're running a little bit quicker right now by themselves, that will not only be good when they come out on track, because it might put a bit of a gap in a distance between those guys, those 4 trucks that did come down a few laps ago from this lead pack, which, you know, it's always good to be able to shuffle maybe a few guys out from potentially going for the race win, but it also means less trucks, which could be an issue if they're trying to remain in front of the second and third pack behind them. So, like we said, Bryce, still a lot of things that can happen. We got another green flag stop, or at least this will be the last green flag stop, more than likely under green flag conditions, which mistakes can always happen. We saw it under that first set of green flag pit stops. Some guys either sped or spun out coming on the pit road. So a lot of things can still happen in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. The first 2 main pack that haven't pitted yet, they're running 52.8, while the pack that has pitted, they were actually side by side for a good bit, and they were running 53.2s to 53.5. So they are definitely losing ground on the pack that hasn't pitted yet. So they definitely need to get more packed up, like we've talked about, and they need to start hauling it because they are losing some ground here.
And 7 trucks remaining in this lead pack. From Barry Nelson to Mike Rideout. The front and the back of the train here. These guys sitting pretty good for the time being. Again, still needing to make at least one final green flag pit stop. Could potentially be waiting to see if maybe a caution comes out. A caution at this point in the race would really shake things up, especially with these guys still needing to come down pit road. This track is long enough to where you don't really go down a lap unless you have some sort of catastrophic mistake. But that would shuffle up the front of the field, and how that is decided, or would be decided, if we did see a caution. So I don't like to play the announcer's ring price. We did a few times last season, and we kind of saw how that ended up. So maybe these drivers will have a little bit better luck when it comes to us saying things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, looking at the lead pack, they're actually getting a little shuffled up. They're back down to the 53.1 second range now. So it looks like they're getting a little disorganized now, especially from coming up on pit stops here. So now coming out that second pack is they're also picking up their lap times as well. They are running 52.9, so it's almost like the pack switched up what they're doing, and here we go, pit stops. And I am really shocked they're not pitting together.
And I'm as well, I guess, maybe not communicating the best from this group. The 96 of Barry Nelson, the first one to hit pit road, and then 3 trucks, Bud Shear, Ledford, and Warren's not coming down from that lead pack. So that will definitely maybe hurt them when they come back out on track, unless they're able to get hooked together after their individual pit stops. But it looks like it might have been gas only for the 96 right there.
Yeah, this will be really excited to see how this all plays out. I'm looking at Bud Shear, Jeffrey Ledford, and Dennis Warnes, and I mean, they are tenths in between each truck right now, really. I mean, big gaps between each one. They're going to lose a lot of time here. Like I said before pit stop started, that 4-car second pack that was original, I'm not going to count them out now. They might be in a good seat here, especially if they nail their pit stop.
And that's what you need if you're a driver from this first pack. You need to have a pretty perfect pit stop to not lose any time. You don't want to overshoot your box. You don't want to speed on pit road. And it looks like there might be troubles behind with the 90 truck of Dennis Warrens. It looks like he had to situate himself a few times. So that's especially going to hurt these top 3 who just stayed out that extra lap.
Yeah, that just could not have gone worse for those drivers between the miscommunication with that main pack and then the pit road trouble. So this will be interesting to see how it cycles out. Then you do stay in the lead pack, or what kind of like situation we have. We might have 10 different packs of small trucks. So this will be fun to see where everyone cycles out and how they blend.
And we see Bud Shear and Ledford be able to come off at pit road with the race lead, but directly behind them is the Hungry Pack, who is now going to work up behind them. They have Chris Barker leading that pack, the 6 car of Chris Phillips right behind them, and then about 4 other trucks behind them. So they're definitely going to be coming with the head of steam here. Now it's I mean, it really shook up after that green flag pit stop, Bryson. I'm surprised, like you, as to how shaken up this pack has really gotten.
I mean, we were just talking about Bud Shear and Jeffrey Ledford and the pit road trouble from Dennis Warnes, but they are still in the lead like a lap after pitting. Like, I cannot believe that they executed their entry and all that so well where they kept the lead like that. So just fantastic work by those 2 drivers, as they're still going to hold the lead. I don't think they'll lose.
Yeah, I think they might have actually gained rather than lost some time, but still an impressive pit stop by these top two of Ledford and Shearer. And then the 47 truck behind them is a lap down. So is Jason Henry is on the lead lap. So it's just the 47 truck who is a lap down. And with those two being able to suck up and help these two leaders, that's going to not only help their cause of being two individual trucks, but it also might allow them to pull away, like we said, from that pack behind them, who really isn't as organized as we would probably expect to be this close to the end of a race.
Yeah, I was shocked that they were side by side there. They lost so much time there. They're getting single filed out now. I'm not sure if Chris Parker has damage or something. They're losing touch with the two trucks that just went around them. Chris Parker might have some damage for pit road or something. He is not up to speed.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting to see how slow he's really been since the first two drivers of Shearer Ledford came off the pit road. We thought for sure they'd be able to carry a big head of steam coming down the back straightaway. Then it kind of remained even, and now they've pulled back by a couple seconds. So now it's going to rely on Mike Rideout and Chris Barker here, Mike Rideout and Barry Nelson to see what these two trucks can do, but they just don't have the numbers like those trucks in front of them do.
Yeah, look at the lap times right now. The main pack is running 53.185, while the second pack, Chris Parker, that we're facing is 54.352. So just definitely not up to speed. Very interesting to see how this plays out. But right now, those four drivers leading this race definitely have the upper hand here.
The upper hand, the numbers for sure. 9 laps to go. Still a long ways here at Talladega. Bud Shearer leading the way. Ledford behind. Jason Henry in third, being the fourth truck as they have the 47 who is 1 lap down, but he is helping out these top 4 drivers by just remaining in a critical position. We'll see if these top 4 drivers can bring it home and decide it for themselves, or if maybe the guys behind them can get a bit organized. They're just over 3 seconds back. They have probably the more trucks that they would probably need to be able to catch them, but can they get organized? That is the real kicker, and I think if they're able to sort it out, you see the 46 of Chris Parker actually now be able to suck up, so I'm not quite sure what was going on with his truck, but it looks like he has that speed back in that race truck.
I almost wonder, sometimes the autofield, depending on how you run your race, autofield will take how much it thinks you need. And if you're saving that first run, like massive saving, it'll go off that fuel calculation. So I wonder if he doesn't have enough fuel in the truck to actually go hard, and he's fuel saving right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. That could definitely be a factor if he is a lap or two shy. You wouldn't want to be the lead driver in a pack. You'd probably want to be right where he is now, if not the 4th position, to try and save the extra lap that you would need. Now, we're not positive on that being the case, but if that is the case, that would be pretty interesting to see how this 46 truck handles these last 7 laps, as it looks like they're maybe taking a look to the outside, but really, again, not staying organized, Bryce, and it's really not helping their cause for the time being.
I can tell you who's loving it, and that's Bud Shearer, Jeffrey Ledford, and Justin Henry. They see that in their mirror, and they see the gap growing, and they know that they're going to sell this race win between them.
Yeah, in the past 2 laps, it's gone up about 2/10 again, so they haven't gained at all since we talked about it a few laps ago, and again, like you said, they're probably loving it up at the front, as now they're going to get unaligned. The 96, the 76 going to maybe be shuffled out of line, and that's going to just hurt this pack even more, Bryce.
Yeah, it almost looks like they don't know that they think they're racing for the win. Almost it looks like they're just making moves on each other, wanting to lead this line, and they maintain with a single file, and then when they get side by side, they lose up to a half a second a lap. So just very interesting. They can't decide who wants to lead. It looks like those top 3 trucks right there, they're starting to get lined up nose to tail. That's what I like to see. That'll gain you time if you can really maximize on it.
Yeah, now these, like you said, these top 3 trucks in this second pack actually gained a little bit right there, being hooked together a bit better than they were before, and really, actually now we're closing down the gap a little bit. 5 laps to go, though. It's going to be a tough task to do.
Yeah, they're going to have to be absolutely perfect. Like you said, less than 5 to go now, and once they get there, it'll be fun to see. They're going to have a run. If they just need to get a snip of that draft. If they get that draft, that's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, for sure. The minute they get within about a second, maybe a second and a half, they will definitely get the draft from this lead pack, who is actually unorganized now that we go back and look at them. Really not as close together as they need to be. And you can just see by looking at the timing and scoring how quick this second pack is actually catching them for the past 2 laps.
There's another round of pit stops happening with Chris Parker and all of them. We might have another pit stop with the leaders too. This is changing everything.
So I'm wondering if maybe these guys have backed it down up at the front. They obviously were the ones to come down the latest out of pretty much the whole field, which if they're able to stretch it these last 4 laps would be pretty good for these two, but I'm not sure if running out front with no help is actually going to allow them to save the field that they need. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see if they can make it around for the next, what will be coming to 3 laps to go this time by. But they do have the advantage of being ones who have stayed out the longest for every pit stop.
Yeah, this is such a fascinating strategy-heavy Talladega race that I've gotten to see here. And you can almost see that pack is no longer nose to tail. I think they're all max fuel saving here. They are not on top one another like they were earlier.
3 laps to go, coming to 2 laps to go, and it's going to be 3 trucks in this main pack who are on the lead lap. Bud Shear in the 93, Jeffrey Ledford in the 01, and then Jason Henry, 4th truck in line in that Valvoline white and blue 10 machine. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see if these guys have to come down pit road. You see the 47 truck, who is a lap down, having to dive down pit road. Remember, he came into this pack after the leaders were able to cycle through and around him, so he kind of just joined through that pack here, which is now going to put these top 3 together, nose to tail. 2 laps to go this time by. Will these leaders have enough is the question. And it's going to be pretty difficult to do. But like we mentioned, they've been ones to stay out the furthest so far tonight. Unless we see a caution, it's probably going to more than likely be decided between these 3 drivers right here.
The biggest question isn't even if they have enough fuel to make it, but who has enough fuel to actually make the move? Because I can guarantee you, none of these guys are probably going full throttle right now if it's fuel saving. Who has the fuel to actually go full throttle and make that move? So this is going to be interesting. When we come to the tribal, coming to the checkered flag, it'll be interesting to see if any of these guys start stumbling.
And they got 1 more lap to go. White flag is in the air one more time around. Will these drivers be able to make it around? Like Bryce said, it's a long ways to go. And coming through that trial will definitely be the key to tell us who is going to come out the race winner. Down the back straightaway one more time. Jason Henry peeking maybe outside for just a moment. Now Henry laying back a little bit, trying to build up a run here.
Here we come. Exit of turn 4. Does the lap car help at all? Can he get up there?
They've got one more shot to make it, trying to shuffle it on back. And to the inside, Ledford taking a look. Contact made, and I think it's going to be a photo finish right at the line. I'm not sure who actually quite got it. It looked like Bud was right there at the line, but I think Ledford nudged him out at the last second.
Yes, give it to Jeffrey Ledford by 1/100th of a second. I think that is the closest finish on Turn Sector Media's history. So what an exciting finish.
And they had enough fuel to do it. And I think Ledford actually ran out right there. It looks like he's not able to remain up to speed. But what a close finish right there at the line. Ledford Shearer battled it out at the line, and like Bryce said, a photo finish is what it came down to off of turns 3 and 4. A late move between those top three. And now Ledford able to come home with the race win. He's going to go ahead and park it on the start-finish line here for all the fans. We'll be able to take a moment and speak with our race winner here. Jeffrey, congrats on the race win. You just barely nudged over Bud Shear to collect the race win. And what looked like it might have come down to just fuel strategy at the very end. You're able to save enough and decide it between you, Shear, and Henry, and like I said, just barely nudging him out the line. How did you do that, and how did you know when to make the correct move?
I big time got to thank Bud for that. I got a penalty early on with that accident. It put me in the back. Cycle, I went ahead and got some extra fuel, and that's what got me the couple extra laps over those guys that couldn't make it. Bud got with me. We got to the front, pitted together, kept coming back out together. So, yeah, without him, I don't know that I could have been there, but was just content with riding with him and just getting a second place and solid points day. I mean, you can't beat that. I saw the kind of move, and I said, let me just fade aside and see what happens. And Bud shot up and left a gap. I was like, all right, I'm going to put it at the bottom and make it interesting. We'll see what happens. And the scoring didn't update. And I'm like, okay, I got a second. That's cool. I'm happy with that. And then I was going back into turn 1, and it updated again, showed me 1. So I was really excited about that.
Yeah, and you talk about a good points day. I mean, coming home with a good points day at Talladega is always a win, but able to come home with the win right at the last minute, like you said, it looked to be so close, and it took us a minute to even be able to identify who had the race win. But getting the win on the first race of this new season with the new car that this series is running, the truck to be exact. I mean, we saw you go into the championship playoffs last season and looking to, I believe actually, I think you were a part of that, looking to continue to start this season off with strong hopes. I mean, is there any sort of goals that you have for this season besides getting the win for the first race?
Mainly just having fun, but we're going to take a shot at it. We got to win, so we're in the chase now already. So the rest of the season, we're just going to be trying to stack up wins and see what we can do. I mean, with that win on the first column, you know, you're automatically in the playoffs. So that makes a big difference for the rest of the season.
100%, and like you said, just to have fun for at least maybe a couple extra races and not have to worry about getting a win or points too much. Before I let you go and go celebrate, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank or any shouts you'd like to give?
Thank my team, Foothills Motorsports. They're back on with me this season to run, and you know, we bounce a lot off each other. So I thank all those guys. 3J Printing and Design. It's a personal business of mine. We can 3D print anything you can think up. We do everything from steering wheel holders where you can mount your steering wheel to the wall on your sim rig. I've got custom button boxes for your tablets or anything like that. So we can do all kinds of stuff. You can look us up on Facebook. It's 3J Printing and Design. Just give us a shout. Let us know what you need.
Alrighty, Ledford, thank you for taking a minute to speak with us. Congrats on the race win. Go celebrate, and hopefully we'll be able to take a moment to speak with you again next week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.
That was race winner Jeffrey Ledford. You heard from him. He's definitely stoked to be able to come home with the race win tonight and not having to worry about maybe, later on in the season with trying to get a race win. And we'll take a look at it right here one more time and how close it really was. I mean, Bryce, I'm not quite sure if you can get any closer than this.
Yeah, what an exciting finish. Like I said, closest finish on this broadcast channel's history. So that'll be a great way to start the season. I can't wait to see how this season continues. And just like Jeffrey Ledford said, he has that win and doesn't have to stress about his season until those playoff starts. So he's going to be able to experiment each race and see what works, what doesn't work. And doesn't have to stress about points and learn what the truck does and get himself prepared for those playoffs.
That is true, and that's such a big relief off of your back. I know from my experience, definitely always good to be able to get at least a win early in the first portion of the season, let alone the first race. Now, I think you're going to go ahead and standing by with Jason Henry, our third place finisher. Let's get him up here.
I'm staying on pit road with Jason Henry, finishing P3 tonight. Just take us through your race and what was going through your mind through those closing laps.
Well, the beginning of the race was interesting, having the one car flip up over top right in front of me. Got a little bit of damage in that. Then I got a little bit more damage coming to the pit road, so it made the first half of the race pretty hairy. The last part of it, I was really hoping Bud was going to run out of gas because I knew being third in line, I had nobody to pull out and help me make a move. So I was just trying to get them side by side and hoping that there'd be a hole, which there wasn't.
Well, you did a great job managing the beginning of the race. Like you said, you got some damage and seen the incident on pit road. So just a great comeback, especially with no more cautions in the race to make your way up there. And obviously fuel mileage was up there too. You're having to save some fuel and make those runs. So finishing P3 here, first race of the season. This is obviously a great momentum booster for the rest of the season. Just take me through what your goals are for this season.
Yeah, it absolutely is some great momentum. Usually I end up in the big wreck at these start races that we always do on a super speedway and put me in a hole, but hopefully I get back to victory lane. It's been, 3 or 4 seasons since I've won last. I've been close, just always have something go wrong at the last second there. So be ready for that and get ready for the playoffs, hopefully. Build some more momentum, more point stacking.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like a plan. Hopefully we're able to talk to you more throughout this season and see you in victory lane. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to say thanks? Sponsors, family, friends?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the sponsors that came on this season. I know we got some new ones in there. Obviously, shout out to you guys again for coming back and broadcasting. You guys do a great broadcast. Other than that, that's all I got.
Thank you, Jason. That's our P3 finisher at Talladega Superspeedway.
Let's go ahead and get Bud Shear up here. Bud Shear standing by on pit road with me. Bud, trying to come back from last season with a bang after winning the championship. Almost had it there at the line. Just needed maybe another inch, maybe not even that, to get the win. But overall, a great night and a great way to start the first part of this season. Is there anything differently that you maybe could have done there to maybe be able to just barely nudge out Ledford, or do you think it was really just going to come down to that last couple of feet?
All honesty, this is my 5th season here, and I don't think I've ever finished a super speedway not all tore up. So I had 0 times. There wasn't a single mark on that truck. So I honestly didn't care if I won there or not. I wasn't gonna get turned. I figured I was gonna keep blocking them at a 4 until it was too risky, and I could have followed them down to the bottom, but again, I didn't feel like getting hooked, and then just that was all over. So no, I was quite fine with first, second, or third there, whatever it worked out to be, as long as the truck was in one piece, and it was. So yeah, that's 5 seasons it took me to finish the super speedway. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and you talk about, I mean, I know from doing races myself, most of the time you don't necessarily get to come out of a super speedway with a good finish. And like you mentioned, to be able to actually come out of a super speedway race in this league with a decent finish definitely is, I mean, I think that would be probably a call to win in your books, like you said. But there's definitely, would you say there's a little bit more pressure on you this season as you've just come off the champion from last season, or do you think it's maybe just something that is, you know, it's there, you get the title, but you're not going to sweat too much over trying to defend it?
I'm here every Sunday just to have a good time and hang out with good people. So to be quite honest, I could give 2 shits if the thing's wrapped up in the fence every week, or if she's doing donuts on the front stretch. I mean, it's fun when you win. It's a blast. Like I said, I kept saying all last season, it was just one of those lucky seasons. Anything that should happen luck-wise, it did. So take that for what it is. But we'll see a couple races in here. I think by race 4, you know, if I'm able to compete or not. We'll see. Not the greatest in the truck. We'll see what happens here. It hit and miss for me. I don't know. I feel like I can win in it, but it's kind of track particular. But we're just going to show up, try to have fun, and see where we end up at the end of it.
Well, I love that you're here just to have fun no matter what the outcome is. And Bud, I've enjoyed talking to you last season, and I love being able to start off this season with talking with you. And I don't want to hold you up too much. I mean, second place finish, obviously nothing to hang any heads down. But going on through this season, we head to, where do we head to? I got to actually take a look. I can't remember. Heading on to Chicagoland. We were there last season to start off the playoffs. Obviously, it's a different vehicle. It's the truck versus the Archer that we ran last season. But is there any maybe comparison that you can take from last season heading into next week?
I don't know. I'd have to have this truck on track to see. I also kind of forget that race in general last season. I think I won every race of the first one of each round, so I must have won that one. I don't really remember it, so we'll I don't know. I don't really know until 10 to 7 comes and practice lobby opens up, and we go out, start making qualifying runs, and see what we got. Sometimes we're pretty spicy, and other times it's fairly embarrassing. So don't know until 7:50 on Sunday night.
Well, you know what? Either way, I'm sure we'll be able to see some good racing out of you. And Bud, before I let you go, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank or any shouts you'd like to give?
Hey, I'm pretty proud that I've been in this booth how many times, and I keep Bryce pretty speechless. I've never heard him talk before, so I must be doing something good there. But I'll give you guys a big thanks for putting on this broadcast every week and showing up and doing it. Everybody at Lightning eSports that makes this possible and lets us come out and race. RBS Racing with Sean Burke and Goat Racing Diecast. Yeah, come back next week and see if we can keep her clean again.
Alrighty, Bud. Hopefully be able to speak to you next week at Chicagoland, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yes, sir. Thank you kindly.
All right, that was Bud Shear finishing in second place last season's champion. Bryce, always a blast to talk with him, always high-spirited and really never down about anything.
Yeah, absolutely, in a great way. I know he says that he doesn't really care about it, but every driver loves to defend their championship, and he's doing a great way to start it this season with a P2 at Talladega Superspeedway.
And like you said, a great way to start off for some of these drivers. Other drivers not able to capitalize on tonight. We'll go down the full lineup here. Take a look at the race results. Ledford with the race win over Bud Shear. Jason Henry, the third place driver out of that group. Barry Nelson, fourth. Mike Redout, fifth. Dennis Warnes in sixth. Then Truth Hoke, seventh. Javier Zapata in eighth. Brendan McKee in ninth. And Rusty Jordan running out the top 10. 11th will be Oren Russell, Adam McCaffey, Alex Foster, Chris Phillips, Sean Burke in 15th. Chris Barker in 16th, Chantel in 17th, Jonathan in 18th, Christian in 19th, and Sebastian in 20th. And then rounding out the field in 21st will be Michael Chanel, Jesse Fox, Michael Ware, Robert Kahn. Remember, he also has a championship to his name. Joshua Panel, 25th, Mathis Bernatchez in 26th, Brendan Forcade in 27th, James Foster 28th, and then rounding out the field will be Kevin Baker in the 29th position. Now, I apologize if I just mispronounced anybody's last name. I will definitely go and try and work on them. Obviously, some new faces in this league compared to last season. Good to see a lot of these drivers out here, Bryce. 29 truck field out there tonight. Really put on a heck of a show. And, I think this league, if we're able to get 29 trucks to show up each and every week, is going to put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said it, 29 truck field. I believe that's a full field size for this league. I think they cap it actually at 29. So they had a full field here tonight and only one caution at Talladega, and it was like a 2-truck incident. So very clean for a first race as everyone got to learn each other, and very exciting finish. And we didn't even have to wreck anyone for that exciting finish. So great show as always that they put on. And I think we said momentum for drivers entering this race. I feel like the league has momentum after leaving tonight's race. Everyone put on a great show, super clean, super fun, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that this season.
And I think so too. And I do like the move to the truck. I love the Arctic car, but I also love that they switched it up to the truck this season. I think not only is it going to be some spectacular racing like we saw last season, but I think it'll also introduce some new faces in Victory Lane, maybe even having some new drivers compete with Bud Shear for this championship. I know we spoke to him and he's kind of played himself down a little bit, but don't let that fool you, as Bud Shear definitely a championship contending driver no matter what will probably be given to these drivers. So lot to look forward to in this season, Bryce. It's been fun here tonight, and I don't really have anything else to add, do you?
No, I think everything has already been said. Can't wait to see what Chicagoland puts on next week. Obviously a multi-groove, high tire wear racetrack, so you put any vehicle in Chicagoland, it's going to be a great race, but I think the truck will put on a great product there, and I can't wait to see who we pick for way too early championship picks next week.
I agree with that. I think we'll probably make some championship picks that will probably be a bit too early, but that's part of the fun. And like I said earlier when talking to Buddy, we're going to head to Chicagoland next week, same place, same time. Can't wait to see you guys there. And once again, live from Lightning East with the Lightning Esports Truck Series. Gonna have to get used to that from Talladega Superspeedway. It's been a blast. I'm Oscar Jensen, joined by Bryce Shoemaker, and we will see you guys next week from Chicagoland.
get the most eyes on your vehicle, you need the best that the rest will see. At Lightning Wraps, you get the best at an affordable price compared to the rest. Be sure to check us out on Facebook for more information.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You have a great car, great team. Let's go execute. Start time. We know what we got to do. Stay the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in Victory Lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down. The afterchecks are lit. Count out anybody who wants it the most.
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough?
A dominant performance.
You gotta say no, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can. Get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Run here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Down in the deep.